All right, what's up, y'all? We just got off work. We are walking the dog. Today was a crazy productive work day. It's like our end of quarter. So if you're in sales, like end of month, end of quarter, end of year is always crazy. Trying to get things done on a deadline, trying to close whatever you can. We had like 7 client meetings today. We found a good deal we're about to close on one call, which is very unique in the type of sales that I'm in. Usually it's like at least 3 or 4 calls, but the contract's out, so fingers crossed. Maybe I'll let y'all know if they sign by the end of the day, or maybe they'll sign tomorrow. I don't know. But today we're about to do a leg day. We changed up the programming a little bit, or should I say the coach did. So you'll see what the first exercise is when we get there. Peace. All right, what's up, y'all? Like I mentioned, we got a new programming today. So we are kicking off this leg day with Smith machine back squats. And I think I've done this exercise maybe once a long time ago. So we're feeling out the weight. For this first working set, we just put on a 45 and a 25 on each side. And I believe we got like 15 plus reps, like maybe 17 reps, something like that. I'm also experimenting with, how am I going to film this? This is a new workout, new exercise. The one thing that I was a little bit surprised was my lower back felt a little off. Like, it didn't hurt, but it definitely felt like it was getting more used. So I think it has to do with like the bar path and the alignment. If I'm like putting too much emphasis like on my quads or on my lower back, like I don't know, the angle might be slightly off, but I think the longer I do this, the more I'm going to get used to it. So I definitely felt fatigued. I definitely felt tired. I'm trying to push myself as far as possible. You guys can see the last few reps here are really grinders. My trainer told me, like, pretend someone kicked your dog and you were angry and then you had to hit a set of squats, right? So that's what I tried to do, knowing that was our first time doing this exercise in a long time. I think next week I'll be stronger. From there, we moved on to single leg press, and we did like 12, 8, and then 10, 10 on each leg. So four sets total, 4 sets per leg. And the first 2 sets, I think we did like 130 pounds per leg. And then we got 12, we got 8, and then we dropped down the weight a little bit for the next 2 sets. And we did, 110 pounds for 2 sets of 10 to finish that off. So a lot of kind of unilateral workouts, or I guess this is bilateral because like each leg is working at the same time. I'm trying to throw in some, personal training jargon in there to make it seem more scientific, just freaking one leg at a time, good for imbalances. Speaking of imbalances, I feel like I definitely have some quad imbalances, maybe some glute imbalances. So hopefully this programming helps with that over time. And the third exercise of this workout was weighted step-ups. So I'm not sure if this is the best platform to do the step-ups on. It's like the little tire that you can flip up, but it's much higher than like the normal bench where you would do like dumbbell bench press on, or just the normal benches that are laying around the gym in the dumbbell section, right? So this one's a lot higher. I think because of that, my balance is probably a little bit off. I'm having to kind of like reestablish my balance a couple different times throughout those working sets. So I don't know if that's the best, but maybe I'll also just get used to the height of this little platform. I don't know. We'll see. I also feel like when I'm pushing my leg through, so like right now I'm pushing off my left leg and I'm kicking my right leg up. I just stopped because I feel like that was messing up my balance a little bit. So maybe I'll just have to experiment with, what I feel is the best option for me in this specific exercise. But we grabbed the 30-pound dumbbells for this first set, and we did 12 reps, I believe, each leg, 12 reps. And then we grabbed the 40s, and then we grabbed the 30s. So we did 3 sets of that total. And then this is going to look very similar, but this was the last exercise of the leg day. It's a eccentric, so you're really trying to slow down on the way down and it's supposed to activate like your glutes and your hammies a little bit more. As you can tell, balance is an issue. So maybe I'll have to go to the lower bench. I don't know. Maybe I'm just short in my femur and my, length of my arms or my legs are short. I don't know. But we're really trying to go slow as possible on the way down, which is harder than it looks, honestly. If it's just a balance thing or if my glutes and my quads are already fatigued, I'm not entirely sure. But we're just doing body weight, right? And it's definitely not easy. And then we switch to our other leg. And in general, my left quad is always like bigger than my right quad. I don't know why, but my right glute is bigger than my left glute. So those are some of the imbalances I was talking about. So when I do this exercise, I feel it a lot in my left quad, but then I feel it like when I do my right leg, I feel it more in my right glute. So you guys can see I'm trying to put my hand on my butt to see if I can get some mind muscle connection. I think if you lean forward, it's more glute versus if you stand straight upright, it's more quad. So we're going to continue to play around with these different exercises since they're new. But nonetheless, I was freaking winded and I was beat up after this workout. Again, 45-second rest intervals, and it was tough. All right, y'all. That leg workout was tough, and I'm starting to realize that there are levels to this shit. So like just when you think the workouts are going to get easier, just when you think you're used to the workouts, boom, let's switch it up. Let's kick it up a notch. Speaking of that, I know I never even filmed my old core circuit workouts for you guys where it was like, I don't know, technically it was like a 7-minute circuit, and then you rest, and then you do another probably 10-minute circuit. So about 20 minutes, give or take. We did another core circuit today, but this one was actually like an end-to-end 20-minute core workout where you rotate every minute. So you do 45 seconds of exercise and 15 seconds of rest, 20 different exercises, so 20 minutes long. And yeah, I mean, there's levels to this shit. I was talking to my trainer, or texting him rather, and I was basically explaining to him how I feel kind of like a wuss, kind of like a soft person, because I thought I was training my ass off all those years. I thought I was pushing myself. I thought I was limiting the rest between sets. I thought I was, going hard on the core workouts, switching things up, like really pushing myself from an intensity standpoint. But now that I've been in this, little program here for about 4 or 5 weeks, something like that, I'm starting to realize that like there really are levels to this shit. And it got me reflecting back on like working out as an athlete back in high school. And I never did like all the programs for high school football, but the ones that I did, I remember that they were very intense. And there's something about having a coach holding you accountable, whether it's a digital coach, a physical coach, in a training room with 20 other dudes training for football or a sport of your choice. I mean, they know what they're doing. They're there to get the most out of you. They're there to push your body to its absolute limits. And I've never even met my coach in person. I just started to know this guy. But I mean, just having the app, having someone hold you accountable, having someone to ask questions around how you can perform certain movements, it's been incredibly valuable so far. And, this is just the beginning. So it's going to be pretty wild to see what transpires over the next several months, how my body changes. Some of the workouts I can't even completely get through. I mean, I get through like the main workouts, but sometimes with the core workouts, I have to stop. Calibrating the weight has been challenging because it's like, okay, what specific weight are you going to do where like 15 reps is your max? You guess the best you can. Maybe you only get 10, maybe you get 18. And then the next rep, right? The next set, you only rest for 45 seconds. Do you choose the same weight? Do you drop the weight? Do you increase the rate if you're only trying to get 8 or 10 reps, maybe that set? So I think regardless of how many reps or sets, obviously you need to make sure you're counting. You need to make sure you're logging all of that information properly. And then looking back on your previous week, you're trying to beat that, right? Again, the name of the game is, can we get stronger even though we're technically cutting? And we're also, speaking of cutting, like my carbs dropped, so I'm only eating 190. I think this is a good time to talk about macros because it's been a little while. We started off with super high fats, like 150 fat, like 188 protein, and like 220 carbs, something like that. So that's a decent amount of calories. So far, now we're dropped down to still 188 protein, but 190 carbs, and then 125 fats. So we've dropped the fats and the carbs pretty substantially, like a 10%, 15% decrease, whatever the numbers shake out to. So we're starting to feel a little bit leaner, but the nice thing is we actually haven't dropped much weight at all. Like we've probably only dropped a couple pounds or something like that, which is pretty nice for me to see because, you know, that means that I'm retaining muscle. I'm losing weight slowly despite cutting the calories and the carbs and the fats compared to what we were doing a few weeks ago, right? So speaking of that, right, like continuing to cut the carbs, I'm sure we're going to continue to cut all three of those different levers over the next several weeks and months here. And we're going to start to ramp up the cardio. So we're going to start doing cardio just about every damn day. I'm going to have to figure out the best way to work that into my routine. It could be one of those things where we have to, you know, get in some treadmill walking at the office during our lunch break. Maybe I'll have to wake up early and do some cardio on the treadmill. I also want to make sure I'm planning my cardio around my leg days, right? Like so far I'm doing legs twice a week, one major leg day, and then, you know, I do a full body workout, which has some legs incorporated in that as well. So nonetheless, we're going to keep pushing through. There's levels to this shit. If you're watching this and you think you're training hard, you're probably not training that hard. But that's the fun of it, right? The fun is pushing yourself. The fun is getting the most out of yourself and watching your body change. And so stay tuned. This is just the beginning. If you made it to this point in the clip, you're a freaking real one. Appreciate you. KevDawg out.